Hello, Medio-san. At the No Kings rally in D.C., not, it seems, a rally so liberal that he would not attend. I don't actually think Medio-san's a socialist. I think he's just like a very principled, firm social democrat, which, you know, that's fine. He's a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends.
Hello.
My name is Mehdi Hassan. I am a journalist. I am an immigrant, and I am a Muslim.
I've heard this.
I am everything Donald Trump loves. I am the Trump trifecta. I'm also a bit of a socialist. But shh, don't tell Stephen Miller. He alarms quite quickly. Can I just say, it is so heartwarming to see so many...
It is a lib crowd. He's carefully curtailing his rhetoric. I respect it, you know? Bazinga. Is the Cheeto Dorito right behind me? He is, isn't he?
If you out here in D.C. today, D.C. make some noise! We need to make sure today that they hear us in the White House and in the Capitol. All week, I've heard Speaker Mike Johnson and Republican members of Congress say this rally, the No Kings rally, is a hate rally. A hate rally. The people who can't get through a single day without hating on late-night comedians and overweight soldiers and Muslim politicians and Mexican immigrants. And
we were hating on overweight soldiers a bit ourselves, weren't we, when we saw the Texan National Guard being deployed in Chicago? That was a bit of a fun time. It's okay when we do it, though.
Palestinian refugees and black women and transgender kids.
Holy shit. WUSA 9. Some crispy audio technology you're fronting there.
And peaceful I'm not here out of hate. I'm here out of love.
That was dang. That was deep fried. It's back in the 2010s.
Because I love this country. I love America. I love the First Amendment. I love our democracy. I love our diversity. Yes, our diversity. And I am not willing to sit back.
Those guards ended up being sent back home because Hegseth was being made fun of. Was mad they were being made fun of. Oh, I see. Oh, the Texas National Guard? Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, this audio is a little bit too crispy for me, folks. Did I just see a fursuit in the thumbnail preview when I moused over that? Just a bunch of crowd shots, no coverage. Fine by me, I can talk over it. I much prefer that. It's not like the, you know, average CBS reporter in a... This is CBS, right? Yeah, CBS. You know, we don't need Barry Weiss monologuing over this. I'll take the work myself, thank you. You know, I mean, obviously it's kind of a fart in the wind protest, in the sense that, like, nothing is actually done or accomplished because there's no actionable goals. They have real protests over in Europe. You know, they actually do things. They block roads and you know, inconvenience people. They do strikes. That being said, shows of public solidarity do mean something. It's just, you know, people. Look, I'm a centrist on this. Okay, people do too much on both sides. On one end, people sometimes act like these are the bravest acts of public you know, solidarity yet seen in America. And I think that's dumb. But there are also people who act as though liberals walking around looking like this in some way nullify a public movement, which is just not true, okay? I guarantee you that, you know, at the French Revolution, there would have been people holding cringy signs up if they had invented cringy signs yet, okay? Maybe they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. You can have both. I don't think they stand in contrast to each other. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson called for a general strike. Well, calling for a general strike doesn't really mean or do anything. General strike what? So, like what? So every worker in Chicago? What is he talking about? It's easy to talk about. You need infrastructure to do a general strike, something which is in short supply here in America, if you might recall. Crumbling infrastructure.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Did I miss the fursuit? I was looking at chat.
Central
I know this city. Man, bustling out here. How is it so quiet? I used the YouTube website's volume feature on the video to lower the audio coming through. I think these protests, if for no other reason, create social cohesion. Brilliant stuff here. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's important to show people actually coming out. It's just, you know, it's sometimes, Jesus Christ, sometimes it feels a little bit, I don't know, how do you put this? You know, remember that massive gay pride parade, the pride parade they did through Budapest? You know, in a country where pride parades are illegal. Huge. People came from all over Europe to participate in it. We took a look at it. It was very impressive. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know. It feels like the most daring acts of civil disobedience have to be done with some kind of money on the line, right? Nuts on the table, etc. Or at the very least, you have to feel like you're doing something. I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? And also, furthermore, what's the point in, and I mean this, what is the point in showing up to the No Kings protest if you're going to go home and think that if Kamala Harris won, everything would have been fine? We're past that point. It ain't 2016 anymore, you know? We're not dealing with okay, so this was a fluke election kind of business where Hillary won the popular, but, you know, Trump snuck in. Okay, I get it. You know, I think the we could all be eating brunch right now bullshit was bad back then too. I think it's especially bad now. How delusional do you need to be to think that everything would be fine if Kamala Harris had won? You know what I mean? Yeah, they're trying to return to the end of history. We're past that, buddy. We're never going back. Ever. It has been cemented. It was always going to be that way, admittedly. Like, there's no such thing as the end of history, but you have to understand that now. So what does it mean? What does your advocacy mean if, you know, well, no kings, okay, Trump is bad, okay, but Trump is bad is the lowest bar, right? It's the bare minimum. What about any standards for the Democratic Party? I don't know. Rudderless? Yeah. Why censor signs? They're probably censoring swearing or somebody drew some titties or something. I don't know.
To be a king and is doing everything he can, it seems to me, to become a king.
I'm a veteran of the free speech movement in Berkeley in the 60s. We fought for women's rights, civil rights, and we're out here fighting for democracy again. We are protesting authoritarianism.
Oh, goodbye, I guess. That was all we get, thanks to CBS. Maybe she was about to criticize Israel, so Barry Weiss had them quickly cut it right there, you know? Sorry, this is TMZ, but all I've seen. What is it that you've seen? Is this TMZ? Is this what we're talking about? This what we got? I'm just glad they're having fun, personally, okay? Protester popped for aggravated assault, allegedly tripped MAGA supporter in viral video. Oh, I saw this video. I saw this one.
Ride your bike, you go get a job.
Oh, it's terrible. It's so awful. Just terrible stuff. So what's that? Protester pop for aggravated assault, allegedly tripped MAGA supporter in viral video. Allegedly tripped? I didn't see anyone who tripped anyone, okay? I didn't see shit. Anyone see shit? I didn't see nothing. Nope. Didn't see nothing. Well, I'm glad something consequential came out of the No Kings protests, at least then. Is this the false flag? Yeah, this is the pretext for invasion they were going for. Hello.
Johnson called it, quote, The Hate America rally. Here in New York City, police say 100,000 people turned out at multiple marches.
Big tendency you notice at a lot of these No Kings protests is that there are no young people. It's overwhelmingly old people, you know? Them and their wacky signs and such. A lot of for a lot of young people, like, this is just too cringe for them to participate in, you know? Just I don't know. Like you in the sense that I'm old, in the sense that I'm young, or in the sense that I'm cringe. I'll take any. I'm 31. You could hit me with any two of the three. You know, that's true. I was on the train from Westchester, New York City Saturday, and it was all old people with signs. More power to them, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that that old adage remains true. You know, people are 3 missed meals away from anarchy. Maybe you just need that. Was he trying to say adagi? No, I was trying to say edig. Let's talk about the one funny thing to come out of the No Kings protest. I just saw CNN posted a video about it. I'm desperate to know what they have to say about it. Johnson got asked about it. Oh my God, please. Absolutely. Just show the video. CNN, I don't want you to talk first. I just want you to show
took to the streets to
the video.
protest the
Just
current
show.
administration. This was President Trump's response.
Okay, well, we can't play the copyrighted audio, so I'm going to mute that. But it's an AI video of Trump with a crown, right? Was he in a crown here, or was it in a different one? Dropping poop all over the No Kings protests.
Wave of No Kings rallies, as they're called, boasted nearly 7 million attendees across 50 states. With us now, Republican strategist Doug Heye and former press secretary to then Vice President Joe Biden, Kendra Barkoff. Kendra, let me just start with you. What do you think these protests
I want to know what you have to say about
this weekend?
Well, they showed that people are unhappy with Donald.
You have to remember, these people literally do not care about anything, and they live in a media environment where reality means nothing to them. From their perspective, every single No Kings protester is a deranged, hysterical lib. They're all big red from the funny YouTube thumbnails. And Donald Trump is epically trolling them. It's funny, you'd think there'd be some kind of incongruity here because these are also people who are obsessed with America's national standing. But to them, there's no loss in dignity for the president being a 100-year-old pedophile who just posts literally anything that comes to his mind, you know? It's all just epic trolling to them. Really, nobody has a lower opinion of the United States than a Republican.
Trump's policies. You had more than 7 million people coming out in 50 states across the country. They are angry. People voted Donald Trump to lower gas prices, to lower grocery prices, and that is clearly not happening. And on top,
that's an inaccurate description of what? These are Democrats. The No Kings protesters are Democrats. They're not coming out here because there are unmet promises. They're coming out here because Trump's an authoritarian. It's literally called the No Kings rally. How are you f***ing that up? What? It's about gas prices? What are you talking about?
that I would just say that video that he created, I'm sorry, that is something that 10-year-old boys may get a good chuckle at. But the reality is, if this Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, continues to not take these people seriously, great. Let's keep it up, because that is great news for Democrats come.
Who is this woman again? This woman sounds like she sounds and is speaking as though someone has a gun on her from just off camera. What is this? Great. Keep it up, everybody. What are you talking about? A Biden staffer? Oh, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
The upcoming election.
None of these people, no one engages in serious political analysis here. Nobody gets into the psychosexual. And I'm not doing a bit here, okay? I'm not doing a bit at all. Any political analyst who does not discuss the psychosexual in the context of the Trump administration and fascism has no business talking about it. You seriously think that Trump voters are motivated by economic grievance? You really think rationality? You think reality is at play here? You people are a joke. Okay? You people are a joke. You're jokesters. You're jokes. These people are mentally 12 years old. Okay? And you're part of the reason we got here, with your flagrant dishonesty that no one could believe unless they'd already drank the Kool-Aid. And the fact that you, like every other institution in this country, has lowered your bar for understanding to an 8th grade level. You know, everything is produced at a level where you would expect an 8th grader to understand it, which means that the average 8th grader couldn't understand it. It's meant for the average adult, and the average adult still can't understand it, okay? It's it's lowest common denominator politics and political coverage, and we are where we are for a reason.
This is what President Trump had to say beyond the AI video. Listen.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Mr. President, besides San Francisco...
By the way, I'm not a king. I'm not a king.
So Dougie called them very small, very ineffective. I will note, I mean, we're just a few weeks before elections across the country here. I assume there is a risk to overstating the importance of these, but how much of a risk is there to understating the importance if you're Republicans?
Well, it certainly can tell us maybe something about Democratic intensity. But as you mentioned, we're just a few weeks away from elections in Virginia and New Jersey. And so as I saw rallies in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York, big crowds at those. But ultimately, I would rather on one of the last Saturdays before the election have those people knocking on doors and making...
Oh yeah, this was one of the only things that I saw that I actually liked. Over in San Francisco, a bunch of humans, well, obviously humans, I mean like it's a human sign, you know, that visible from the air. They got together and they made No Kings Yes on 50. Which I thought was nice. 50, of course, being the ballot referendum to redistrict California, to allow for California's redistricting. You know, Prop 50, yeah. So I thought that was quite nice, you know. One of the few things you like. Well, yeah, for the most part, it just seems like to me, this is a floppy dick protest, you know? It seems to me like when you read about most protests in most of human history, these are like these big pivotal turning points that define the beginning or end of political legacies. But in America, you know, over here, we do our No Kings rally, our second No Kings rally. We do our Black Lives Matter. Turnout, 50 trillion. Effect, not much at all. It bothers me a little bit, you know? You have your protests, you have them in Budapest, you have them in Kyiv. And, you know, they're very impressive. You read, oh, how many people at Euromaidan? A tiny fraction of the No Kings protest, but somehow they got a president to flee the country. It's just a huge difference in the material conditions. I'm not mad at these protesters. Do not mistake what I'm saying. Sometimes I get the emails, right? And people are like, well, I went to the No Kings protest. Do you think what I did was useless? No, I'm just talking about the general state of things. I'm glad you went.
Phone calls and actually trying to affect elective change if I'm a Democrat, than waving signs and whatever else. It seems to me to be a missed opportunity here. And don't get me wrong, John, what is more fun? It's a great little Saturday to dress up like Kermit the Frog and, you know, wave posters of J.D. Vance with a bald head for some reason. That's a great Saturday. What it doesn't do is it doesn't help Mikey Sherrill.
Not really entirely sure, like why you'd think more of these protests would have been like coordinated around ICE facilities as well, but they just tended to be like general...
win in New Jersey. It doesn't help Abigail Spanberger win in Virginia. I would think that would be the Democrats' priority. And you can do this in a politically smart way. And it's why I think that the organizers here aren't campaign people. You do this rally after the elections, because if the Democrats win these two elections, then you can demonstrate real momentum, regardless of, yes, as I would agree with...
This is stupid. This is dumb.
Donald Trump, maybe not with all of his imagery, that some of these people aren't exactly representative of real American voters.
Organizers say more than 7 million people showed up at these 2,700 rallies.
Unironically suggesting that protests are not useful or effective. I don't believe I said that. Did anyone hear me say that? I don't believe I said that. I don't think I said that. That doesn't sound like me. I have no memory of having said that. I'm looking around for the guy who said that, because they're not in this room.
Protest President Trump's policies, his agenda. So, you know, how much does this potentially energize Democrats or other opponents of Trump's agenda, especially ahead of the New Jersey, New York, Virginia races? Might there be an impact?
Yeah, well, look, I think, you know, there are two big problems Democrats had in 24. And I think the massive turnout at the No Kings rally suggests that one of those problems is on its way to being solved. And the other one, we're going to have to wait and see. The problem that's on its way to being solved, I mean, you know, in 24, Democrats drooped in white-collar, well-educated suburbs that had really provided the core of the opposition to Trump in the 2018 and 2020 election. If you look at the 40 seats the Democrats won in the House in 2018, in 30 of them, there were more college graduates than ever, than average. And in 2020, Biden ran up historic margins in all of these kind of white-collar suburbs. That's the kind of voter
Why were these protests asking people to register if they were going? That seems like a really bad idea. You don't need to worry about registering to a No Kings protest, okay? The state's not going to crack down on everyone who goes to a No Kings protest. The whole don't bring your phone to a protest thing is like for actual protests. Like if you're going outside an ICE facility, you know? If you're just joining a bunch of boomers with signs about how they could be at brunch right now if Kamala won, you're probably fine, you know? Or at least if the state gets to a position where they start cracking down on people based on that, you've probably got bigger problems than your participation.
I think predominantly you saw come out yesterday. And I think the massive turnout is a sign that those voters are very alarmed by what they are watching from this second Trump administration. And they probably are going to turn out in big numbers. And we'll be watching in places like Fairfax County, Virginia, and Bergen County, New Jersey in November to see.
Yeah, okay, this guy's a nerd. You see Brandon Johnson calling for general strike. Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to call for a general strike.
If my ancestors as slaves can lead the greatest general strike in the history of this country, taking it to the ultra-rich and
I really dislike stuff like this because it's like the mayoral equivalent of when people will post like Instagram photos calling everyone for a general strike on the 3rd of November. Everyone we're gonna do it. It lasts one day. Like it's like this won't happen. It's not going to happen. And he calls for it. Okay, that's great. Is it gonna happen? Does he have, as the mayor, have the ability to force a general strike? No. No government official has the ability to do that. That's labor power.
big corporations, we can do the same today. I'm calling on black people, white people, brown people, Asian people, immigrants, gay people from around this country to stand up against tyranny and to bring message to the ultra-rich and big corporations. We are going to make them pay their fair share in taxes.
This is ridiculous. Pay their fair share. You want a general strike nationwide to force higher tax rates in the world? This is complete LARP. This means nothing. It's so performative. It means absolutely nothing, and you shouldn't be suckered in by stuff like this, okay? This is a cynical appeal to your revolutionary sympathies by people who neither have the intention nor the ability to achieve them. To the courts and to the street. What the f does that mean? General strike the courts? What does that mean? Court? What? You're asking for higher taxation. What court issue? What are you taking to the courts there? What does that mean? Were you going to file a lawsuit and say the taxes aren't high enough? What does that mean?
Basically are, right? When we're seeing just the depth of the attacks that are happening, trying to roll back all those gains that were won through past struggle, you know, that you were talking about. And they're not going to win. They're not going to do it. This crowd out here is showing why they're not going to do it.
This stuff. I don't like this stuff, man. It's like the capitalists selling to you your revolutionary fervor, you know? Oh, you're a radical? Oh, you think the system should be torn down? Go to this radical bookstore, TM, where you can buy some, you know, radical. Here's an anarchist cookbook. Here's like you go on Discord and meet your zany anarchist friends, and then 60 years go by and you die and you did nothing. You know, it's not about like you have to understand the fly traps when you see them. Losh, how would you organize a protest and what objective would you want to pursue then? I disagree with the framing that you're presenting here because you're making it sound like I need to provide an alternative to what Johnson's doing. All I'm doing is pointing out what Johnson's doing is literally nothing. He's not organizing a protest. He's just talking. Like, it's not like we're not arguing over the strategy by which you would achieve a given outcome. There's no outcome here. It's nothing. I dislike everything. What would you do? Substance Soda, are you being, have you drank the sippy sip the stupid juice? What are you talking about here, man? This is nothing. It is nothing. The alternative is join PV. Yeah, that's true. This is a constant problem you have. You talk trash but never have a better idea. Because the problem is a better okay, here's the main problem. Here's one of your many problems. You have such a poor understanding of what politics enacted looks like, indicative, by the way, of where we're at, by the way, in this country, that this is the conversation we're having, that you get pitched something from a magic bean salesman, and when I tell you that doesn't work, you ask me how I would make a vine stalk that goes up to the clouds. What's your strategy? That's the thing that bothers me. This is a mayor calling for a general strike nationwide to force higher taxes. It's incoherent. This makes no sense at all. Absolutely nonsensical. It doesn't mean anything. It's just self-promotional bullshit, okay? You want me to give you a better magic bean. There are no magic beans. If you want to work towards strikes, you need union power. You need labor power. That requires years and years of groundwork of rebuilding these institutions. Very difficult to do if you're a mayor, by the way, even if you're sympathetic, because there's a lot of power involved that you don't have direct control over, you know? If you want to raise taxes nationally, I'm really sorry. As a mayor, you can't really do that. You can push for powerful national movements, but the Democrats aren't going to really meaningfully raise taxes on the wealthy. They certainly haven't been trying, so I don't see, you know, I don't know what's necessarily being advocated for here. You know, you think I'm poo-pooing on your ideas, I'm being a downer. I just want you to have an accurate understanding of how these systems work, because this to me is cynical horseshit. I think that it's manipulative and it's designed to take advantage of people who want a better world but have no idea how to get here. And in that respect, I think it's deplorable. So you think, well, I'm not providing anything better. Well, I don't have a better magic bean. You can approach this, you can build it brick by brick, you know? But this is a magic bean video type shit.
It's our money. It's supposed to go to us. And so when we go on a general strike, we're basically saying we want our money to go back to us. We want our power to go back to us, not to these
It's just not how it works. That's not really how it works. Also, a general strike just can't really happen in this country. We don't have the labor power. General strikes are really tough to do, even in countries that have much greater degrees of labor solidarity than ours. In this country, it's borderline impossible, or at least there'd have to be like an incredible transformation of our, labor infrastructure. People want change, but like here's a big problem. You know what a big impediment is to change? The Democratic Party. You know the Republicans are bad. Let's talk about why right now you need to listen, okay? Politics in America is just like Neon Genesis Evangelion, okay? It's exactly like Evangelion, all right? The only way to defeat the angels is by the use of an Eva, okay? You need the mecha. You can't fight them with conventional weapons. Even N2 mines do nothing but slow them down, okay? Now, our Eva, our mecha, is the Democratic Party. You need a party apparatus. You need a party infrastructure. There's no way an independent movement without the power that comes along with the cohesion, the coordination of a political party can function at the level it would need to succeed in this country. It could in some other countries, but in this country, with the amount of power and money on the table, you need to operate within the apparatus of a party. Bernie Sanders understood this when he ran in 2016 and 2020. Mamdani understands this right now. He understands this. Plattner does as well, because I guarantee you he's not too sympathetic to the Democratic leadership, okay? You need to be in a mecca, all right? So we all agree that the enemy, the angels, okay? The inhuman beasts, I guess they're kind of it's watch NGE, okay? The Republicans. In order to defeat them, we need to get Unit 02 online and operational, okay? We need to get O2 operational, all right? How do we do that? Well, we need to have conversations about the functionality of the AVA, of the unit, and what we can do to fix it. Simply agreeing that the angels are dangerous is not enough, you know? We need to make our side, our party, functional. How? Well, I mean, it's complicated, but I'd like to think that I'm part of that project to a tiny, minuscule, I mean, I'm just a YouTuber, but I think that I make pretty good arguments against the Democrats in their current form and how the party needs to improve if we're going to stand any chance against the Republicans. You need to get in the goddamn Evangelion unit. This analogy sucks. It's fine, you're just whining. See, it's just stuff like this really gets me. This is more important than protests, striking and boycotting. Capitalism is their religion and money is their god. No, this is like I'm 14 and this is deep rhetoric. This is not how any of this works, okay? That's not how any of this works. Striking and boycotting. Boycotting what? They're not even naming the things that are being strike what? They're just talking, they're just saying, because these are radical words. It's liberalism. It's the magic of words, you know? If you invoke these radical words, you achieve power. It's not about the words. It's about the way you use them. I've gotten rid of all social media except Reddit, been off all others for years now, and it's liberating. Wow, the powers that be are quaking in their boots. Abandoning 2 of our controlling billionaires' platforms was an easy first step. That's how that's how lefties win. They get off social media. The one place where you can get your message out with very little like upfront cost, which the left tends not to have. Black Friday, you need to hit the billionaires and the donors in their pocket. Which billionaires? Which donors? Not buying stuff on Black Friday is going to hurt the donor? What does that mean? All of the billionaires? There's an indivisible call on October 21st. Oh, that's tomorrow. I believe they're going to start promoting, I don't know what the this is. No Kings. General Strike US. The idea the site promotes a decentralized strike is dumb. Thank God, somebody knows. This stuff just aggravates me. It's also performative. Nobody understands how this stuff works. I love being aggravated. Yeah, me too. Nothing is good enough for Vosh. Yeah, that's true. How are we meant to know? Well, you have to know how politics works, which is the whole point of the stream. I mean, like and subscribe. That'll help. Who produced this video?
Protect all Chicagoans. He has signed executive orders to resist these attacks and these unlawful attacks from the federal government.
To destroy authoritarianism and conquer this nation will not prevail. Large corporations in the history of this country.
Look at this bit rate, man.
Of corporations. In housing, in education, in transportation. Asian people, immigrants, deaf people. Cities around the world. We have declared that we will.
Yeah, I think I get it. All right, well, you know, we rambled. We argue with chat. That's the whole point, right?